Good morning. My live video is starting. It is there we go. 11:44. Okay, good. Good. 11:42 on Monday morning. Good morning. It is Monday, June 17th. I always have to look at the date on my clock to see sometimes I forget which day it is. I mean, I know it's Monday or Tuesday or whatever, but sometimes I forget which day it is. Please let me know if there's crackling on my microphone. I think it's time to invest in a new microphone, new headset. I've had this one for 4 years, and I think it probably owes me nothing at this point, but I like to wear it and use it until until it can't be, it's not fixable anymore. Monday morning, it is June 17th. It is smack in the middle of June, which is a little crazy to me. Uh, yeah, we're almost like the kids are out of school or just about out of school. Lily's last day is tomorrow, and I'm just like, huh, it just feels, I know time is irrelevant, um, but time does feel weird these days. I uh, Yesterday was Father's Day, which I think can sometimes, just like Mother's Day, Father's Day can sometimes be a loaded day, um, with just less fanfare and less attention, which I think is sometimes both easier and harder. I got to spend the weekend. Uh, I wasn't on vacation because I was in the state. I was just at my friend's house, and I was at Patty's house all weekend. A whole slew of reasons why that was, but it was like being on vacation, and it was nice to not be in my space and to still be, around, not away. I didn't have to pack. I didn't I didn't drive. I didn't spend any money, right? We just hung out at her house most of the weekend. Um, and it was delightful, like just so on so many levels delightful. And we I know I the topic of today is unsung heroes. So I'm going to dive right into it. The Lord of the Rings movie trilogy came out 20 years ago. It's the 20th anniversary. So it's a big deal. It came back to theaters for a little while. Um, and I think it came out in 2004. That's why I think it's 20 years. So I had never seen it. I have never read the books. I've never seen it. And I'm not entire. There's a whole slew of reasons why that is. I It does appeal. Everything about it appeals to my gamer Dungeons and Dragons heart. The good versus evil, the epic journey, the heroes, the hero, the choices that we make. All of it appeals to all of me. And I don't know why I didn't watch them originally. I think there was some weird. It doesn't matter, but I've tried to read the books a couple times. The books just are harder. They're dense. It's whatever. So I'm going to talk about the movies. And if you haven't seen the movies, I feel like it's okay for me to give you spoilers of a 20-year-old trilogy. But if you're going to be offended by my talking about the endings of these movies, shut your camera off. If you haven't read the books, you haven't seen the movies, this may not have as much impact on you. But I do think the concepts are so powerful. And so one of the biggest concepts, I mean, obviously, the whole movie is about good versus evil and the choices that we make. Not only the big choices, but the little individual choices, the choices that we make every single day to get up and keep going. And there's a couple of scenes in the movie that really, really, really stuck out to me. And again, I watched the first one in the movie theater last week. I watched the second one on Saturday, and I watched the third one on Sunday. So literally 12 hours, I think, because each one of them was close to 4 hours long. 12 hours of being immersed in Lord of the Rings was a lot. It's like it's a lot of investment, a lot of time to be immersed in this world of orcs and battle and challenge and fighting, the good fight and all of it. And again, all of it appeals to me. So of course it was time that was delightfully spent. There's one scene in the movie where the creature Gollum or Smeagol is fighting with himself. And he's fighting with the part of him that's the critic that tells him how he's bad and awful and wrong and all of these awful things. And he's fighting with himself. And he says to that part that he says Smeagol says to Gollum, it's the same creature, but he's fighting as if he has two personalities. Smeagol says to Gollum, "You're not welcome here anymore." And he keeps saying it, he keeps saying it, he keeps saying it. "You're not welcome here anymore." And it was so awesome. Like I was just like, oh, I was rooting for him because he was fighting his own demons. He was fighting his own critic. And it was amazing. And he wins. And in the end, he's like happy and he's like, he's gone, and he dances for joy. And that moment of him fighting and winning his critic, I was like, yes, that's it, exactly. It was beautiful. And there were several moments throughout the movie where, if you don't know the characters, I'm not gonna talk about the whole story. There are hobbits, there are rangers, there's wizards, there's orcs, there's dwarves, there's elves, there's, again, everything about this appeals to me. One of the characters, Frodo, has to take a ring to be destroyed. It's the evil ring, the ring, whatever, the one ring to rule them all. It's been in the zeitgeist for long enough that you should get this reference. Frodo has to go on this quest. His friend, Sam, Samwise Gamgee, goes with him. Doesn't matter what happens, doesn't matter where he goes, Sam goes with him. Sam was charged with a task. Gandalf says to Sam, "Don't lose Frodo." And regardless of what happens, Frodo tries to leave, Frodo gets lost, Frodo sometimes gives into temptation and puts the ring on. All of it, Sam is the one who pulls Frodo back. Sam is the one, like, he chases after him when Frodo tries to leave, and he's like, "I don't mean to leave you. I don't mean to leave you. He told me not to lose him, and I don't mean to." Like, over and over and over again. Frodo gets tired, Sam is there encouraging him. Like Frodo loses hope, Sam is the one who says, "But we do this because there's still hope in the world." Like the speech that Sam gave in the, I don't know, was the end of the second movie. Again, they all run together because I watched them all in rapid succession. But the speech Sam gives at the end of the second movie is like, the reason we still do this is because we have the hope that there's still some good in the world. It might seem bleak, it might seem awful, it might seem whatever, but we still have hope that there's good in the world. Like Sam's heart is so pure and so true. He never gives up. He never gives up faith. He never gives up faith that they're going back home to the Shire, even though it's an impossible task, and even Frodo knows they're not making it out alive. He never gives up hope on it. And I was trying to figure out what I was going to talk about today, and I knew it had to do with the Lord of the Rings because I've been buried in it for days. And it was that piece of like, we I was talking to Pat about this yesterday, this morning, whatever, and she said, the moral of this. I mean, there's so many morals of this story, but one of the bigger ones is we can't do this work alone. We can't do great things alone. I mean, originally they set out as a group of seven, and all but one of them makes it to the end, right? So there's this amazing fellowship of the ring, which we can't do great works alone. And very specifically, the main character, hero, Frodo is the hero. He's the one who destroys the ring. He's the one who was the ring bearer. He's the one who had to fight all the demons and whatever. He gets the credit. He's the hero. But Sam, like, if it were not for Sam, Frodo dies in the first movie at the first scene. And that, like, the first time he's tempted by the ring, it was like almost immediate. Sam is the one who pulls him back. Consistently, over time, Sam is the one who pulls Frodo back from the brink. And he does it with this, like, humble energy. Like, at one point, Sam and Frodo are talking, and Sam's talking about how they're going to write a great story about all of Frodo's epic feats. And Frodo turns to Sam and he says, "And they'll talk about Samwise the Brave." And Sam's like, "Oh, don't play around, don't be kidding." And Frodo says, "I'm not." I think Frodo knows how he couldn't have done it without Sam, but I don't think Sam knows that he is the reason they get through the whole series. He he really is the unsung hero. What's the point of all this? I've spent 10 minutes talking about the Lord of the Rings. It's 20 years old. And again, I'm new to it, so you have to bear with me, but I think that we can't do great works alone. And I think it is so important for us to have a Sam, for us to have that person who is a little bit of a cheerleader and a little bit of pushy and a little bit like holding space and like not even self-sacrificing, but he's like he share like everything they have they share. He rations their food to make sure that they both have enough. And you know, he just takes care. His whole mission is taking care of Frodo. He makes sure that Frodo sleeps. He makes sure that Frodo eats. He makes sure that Frodo isn't too um, worn down by the ring. He's literally the only person in the whole entire story who's not tempted by the power or the evil of the ring. His heart is pure and true, and he has a true humility, true humbleness about him. He's just Samwise Gamgee from the Shire. He never sees himself as the hero, not once, ever. But Frodo doesn't succeed without Sam, ever. And I that's it's so important for us to have a Sam. It's so important for us to have, and he's not a sidekick, he's a companion. That's a really big distinction. Like a sidekick, Robin is a sidekick for Batman. Robin is there to make Batman look better. And he does it with comic relief and he does it with, whatever. But Robin was a sidekick. Sam is a companion. And in the darkest of times, Frodo relies on Sam. Like Sam literally carries him up the mountain. He couldn't, again, Frodo couldn't be Frodo without his companion. We all need a companion. And sometimes, like in the case of Gollum or Smeagol, our companion has to be ourselves. Like sometimes we have to carry ourselves over the finish line. Sometimes we have to be the cheerleader that we need. Because sometimes we do. And also, we can't do this work alone. We can't be our own hero alone. We need, and it's not just a tribe. Like we need that person. And I think that's why so many of us are looking for that partner, that the relationship, the thing, right? So many of us are looking for that companionship. And if you're lucky enough to have that, right, lucky is not the right word. If you have that, cherish it. If you don't have that, be a vibrational match with yourself until you can be. Because again, without a companion, Frodo dies in the first book. Similarly, in my favorite books, Harry Potter series, Harry dies without Ron and Hermione in the first series. First book, he dies. He's dead. He can't function. So, if you look at any great hero story, legend, journey, sometimes the hero has to go out and face his demons alone. Sure. Most of the time, that hero does it with a companion or two companions to help him get through. So I invite you to first be a companion for yourself. But second, take stock. Look at the people who are around you. Do they sing your praises? Do they share your mission? Do they pick up the bid that you throw down? If you say, wow, that's an interesting bird, do they pay attention or do they move on to something else? If your time and energy and effort is being spent on people who don't have your back, Your time and energy and effort is being wasted. And I encourage you to be really, really, really discriminating with who gets to spend time in your energy, because your energy is valuable and you need someone who has your back and can sing your song when you forget to sing it. Period. And now I know I talk all the time about it's an internal process and nothing happens outside of your energy field. All of this is true. And also, I couldn't do the work I do if I didn't have the people in my world. If I didn't have if I didn't have my if I didn't have Patty, right? If I didn't have a person. And I'm fortunate, and fortunate, I guess that's I've created a life for myself where I have only people in my circle who see my value and can reflect it back to me when I can't. I'm meticulous about the company that I keep for that reason. I'm very, very measured in it. And if you take nothing else from today, what I invite you to do is be very, very, very judicious and careful about the company that you keep. And maybe there is an unsung hero in your world. Absolutely. Let them know how much you appreciate them. And if you are the unsung hero, also know how much you're appreciated and be in the places where your affection is cherished, because it makes a huge, huge difference. That's it. That's all I've got. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful, amazing Monday. It is a beautiful, gorgeous day. Stay cool out there because it will be hot for the rest of the week. And I will see you next week.